supine hip internal rotation, PAIL and rail. Now, long name, relatively simple exercise. Remember, when we're doing our internal rotation, PAILs and rails, we're always trying to work on that range of motion. So what we're going to do is simply set up in that exact range of motion. So I'm going to take this PVC pipe. You'll need one of these for this drill. If not, I'm going to show you a drill. You can fast forward here if you want to do it against a rack or against a wall. But if I have a PVC pipe, it's usually easiest because I can take this PVC pipe, put it on the outside of my right knee, hook my foot in underneath right here, and then with my hands, I can adjust that hip rotation as far as I need to. So for me, when I want to get a stretch in the hip, I can feel it right about there. Now, got to be very key here. I want to still feel it on the deepest part of the hip joint, not necessarily like the top side, like hip flexor. So if you feel that, try to adjust a little bit. You can even sometimes just go down here, like so, or I can go down a little bit lower and still get into internal rotation. That sometimes gets it for people. Just make sure the only spot you feel it is not just hip flexor, it's also deep inside hip. From here, the PAILs and rails are pretty simple. PAILs is driving inward as best you can after that 2-minute stretch. Rails is driving out as far as you can as well. And if you don't feel it right away, a good trick I like to use is trying to do a light PAILs contraction with like that bottom side part of the hip driving down and in as best as possible. So that can kind of sometimes lead you to the right stretch. That's the easy way to do it with the PVC pipe. If you don't have a PVC pipe, or if you are just simply we don't have the equipment, you can always do it with a rack or a door frame or anything along those lines where you simply set up inside of it and then adjust your body so that the foot is out to the side right there. Okay, now that's one way to do it. That honestly might be easier sometimes. Same exact thing where I'm stretching for 2 minutes right here. PAILs is going to be driving the foot in, rails is going to be driving the foot out as hard as you can. Trying to keep the pelvis fixed, trying to keep your belly button fixed the entire time. Everything's flat to the ground, making sure we're working on that very specific hip internal rotation position.